Hey everybody, sorry for the leave of absence. I meant to post a video last week, but I got kind of busy and then my computer started freaking out for a bit, but everything's fixed now. And I actually had this done about a week ago, but through both procrastination and my computer messing up, I have not done so. But now I am posting it. So, go me. Good job. I did it. Sorry for taking so long on that, but I have something really cool for you. It didn't take me too long. It only took me about half a day, a total of work. Maybe a little bit more than that, actually. I had to look some stuff up, just because I made some silly mistakes. But I'm going to help you guys through those mistakes right now. Right now, you can see the third-person controller right there, the little engineer guy over here. And we got a little camera up there. You can kind of faintly see the camera symbol inside that sphere. That means we're going to be doing a third-person camera today. But not only is it just a third-person camera, it is it's not exactly it, but it's a very simplified version of the Ocarina of Time camera. And, did I hit? I don't think I hit anything. If I hit anything, I'm sorry. I have the microphone in a new setup, and, it's right next to me. So if I hit it, I'm sorry, I'm just getting used to it. So we're going to do the Ocarina of Time camera, a very simplified version of it, not perfect by any means. And I might add some more features to it later. Like the Ocarina of Time camera, for example, when you jump, the camera changes its perspective so it goes above the player and looks down at them. And then when you go up a hill, it does the opposite where it goes down, so it looks up at you. But that's maybe something for later. I don't think I'm going to do that right now. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow or the next day if I don't think of something better to do. But I'd rather start with another interesting project to do. So, as you can see, I just made a little scene here with everything in it. Nothing too complicated. I'm just going to show you what we're trying to get, right? What the finished product is from the start. This is what it's going to look like, right? So we got our third-person character controller, and he's just walking around, right? And you get farther away, it goes to the player, whatever, right? But if you get close to the camera, something that it does in Legend of Zelda is if you start walking towards the camera, it doesn't move away from you, right? It just stays where it is, and it lets you move close. Until you start moving far away again, then it starts following you again, right? And you can also reset the camera position, stuff like that. And it'll go faster when you're running, so we'll keep a distance, but it will also stay at your pace, right? And these are all values that you can edit, right? It's not like it has to stay at that distance when you're running, or so on and so forth. And I'll show you how to do everything in here in just a second. I just need to open up. I made a blank scene with nothing in it. And I have the script set up on my other monitor so that I don't mess up as often. I found that was really helpful last time. So we're going to do this again. So we're going to open up the blank scene, the empty scene. Alright, and first I'm going to show you how to set up your third-person character controller. But first we need camera. We don't have any camera right now. So we need to go into Game Object, Create Other, and we want... Where'd it go? Where are you, camera? There you are. Camera. Okay. Right? So, the thing with the camera is that the camera itself is not an object. Right? Even if you look at it up here in the editor, it's kind of like just this 2D image, right? It's not like a block or a square or anything that you can actually see other than this little camera thing. So that means that it goes through objects, which is really helpful in that it doesn't freak out and go flying all over the place. But it's not very helpful in that if you go through an object, you can completely see through the level, and that is not very immersive, right? That doesn't get people thinking that they're in some fantasy world, right? They're pretty much immediately what is that called? I'll just keep calling it immersion. Their immersion is completely broken. So what we want to do is we want to, if you make a new project, you want to click the character controllers. That's it. That's all we need. And we go into the character controllers, and we want the third person controller, right? We're just going to put them up here. I think so. If you look in here, it will show. Before we do anything else, I just want to do this because I had a little problem with this myself, and then I hadn't used the third person controller before, so I was a little confused as to what was happening. We go in here, right? So you see there are 4 missing animation clips, right? It just says missing, 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 and what that means is that when it tries to do either the idle walk animation, the walk animation, the run pose, or the jump pose, it's not going to do any of those because it doesn't know what it is. Luckily, we still have the animations, right? They're just not assigned to these spots. So first we want to look at the idle one. You click this little circle over here. Just double click idle. Go into walk, double click walk. Go into run animation, double click run. And for the jump pose, we double click jump pose. There we go, we did it. Good job, guys. You made a game. I'm proud of you. Okay, so, we did that. Now we got the camera, right? Doesn't really matter where the camera is. We're pretty much going to make it go to a set position when the game starts anyway. But what we do want to do is we want to create a sphere, right? It doesn't have to be a sphere. It could be a cube or whatever. I just made it a sphere just because I like spheres, I guess. They're pretty nice. So, oh, wait, we don't want to do that yet. Hold on. So, we want the sphere to be exactly where the camera is, right? Because we want the camera to be inside the sphere. Basically, we're going to put the camera inside the sphere. It's going to look out from inside the sphere, and the sphere is going to act as a kind of shell around it, so that when it hits objects, it doesn't go through them. I'm not sure if you can give... if you can make the camera react to physics and stuff, but I don't know, it seems kind of dangerous to try it. So I'll look that up later. I'll let you know in the next video if that's actually something you can do, but for now we're just going to do this quick fix, because why not? And we're just going to get the position. Oops, sphere. Oh, now I moved it, so I gotta take it again. Damn. Ah. As you can see, I'm just so fast. And I always copy. I always press the copy button. I always press Control C at least 4 times just to make sure, because I've gone through. I've done so many different things where I've thought I've copied something and then I haven't. So we're going to go ahead and put the camera. We're going to put the camera inside of the sphere, right? So that means that wherever the sphere goes, the camera goes. Whatever the sphere's rotation is, that's the camera's rotation, right? I'm not sure if they'll actually do it in the editor or not. I don't think so. What is this? Tree view. Dragging. I don't know what that is. Object is not set to an instance of an object. Show me. Oh. Oh, this is interesting. I think that's, it doesn't seem to be doing the error anymore, so I'm just going to clear it. If that turns out to be something later, I don't know. Probably not. I hope not. Okay, so close this. Now we have the setup. This is the setup, right? So if we go into the thing, if we press play, just give it a second to load for the first time. Somebody text me? Who just texted me? Oh. Unassigned. Oh! Right. I almost forgot. Good thing you reminded me, guys. You're on the ball today. So, for third-person camera, right here, we just want to go ahead and get rid of that. We don't need that. Get that out of here. There. Null reference. Third-person controller. Okay. Okay. I figured out what the problem was. I figured it out. Okay, guys. So this was the problem. You see, the thing always needs the camera. It always needs a camera in the scene, right? But it doesn't just need any camera. It needs the main camera. So what we need to do is we need to go into the camera that we have, and we need to tag it. Tag it main camera? Or just call it main camera? I think we need to camera.main.transform. Doesn't this turn into the main camera? Main camera. That should work. Clear. Let's do it. Yeah, there we go. Okay. We fixed it, guys. We did it. So, as you can see, our character controller is walking around, right? We can make them run, do whatever. And they're really fast. Really, really, really fast. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go into the third-person controller here, and we're going to change the speed from 2, and we're going to make the trot speed 3, I guess. We'll make the run speed 6. 3 times the walk speed. That's pretty good. And then what you see in here, that is definitely shown in the speed, right? A lot slower, which is good. We don't want it too fast. Okay, so get out of that. We're going to make the script now. We did all the setup. That's all the setup we need. Oh, wait. Oh, almost forgot something. One more thing. Just go ahead and add component, physics, and rigid body to your sphere. Not your camera. Just your sphere. And don't use gravity. Make sure your position is frozen. Right? And that's it. It shouldn't fall. We don't want it to fall. We want it to use physics, but we don't want it to fall. And that's how we're going to do that. If we don't use gravity, then I think it just starts floating around, right? Like if something pushes it, it just goes flying off in the other direction, which is not what we want to do. We just want it to not go where... we just want it to go where we're telling it to and not go through objects. That's all we want. Those are the only two things we want. So I have the script here already done. See? So we're just going to, I'm just going to make a new one so I can show you guys how to do it. So we're going to make a new C# script. We're going to call this tutorial camera. Boom. We did it. Oops. In here. That's the third person controller. Whoa. Save. Okay. There we go. Close that. This is the finished script. Don't need that. Alright. Now, can I'm just going to open this. And you know what? I'll just use Notepad. That's all we... Oh, that's really long. Never mind. We're not going to use Notepad. Oh, default. Oh no. What have I done? Hold on. No. No, not... Oh, no. Oh. I made the default program Illustrator. What have I done? Oh, no. Where's mono develop? Jeez. Oh, my God. I really should have done this beforehand. 86. Mono develop. How do I... Okay, whatever. I got it. I did it. Okay, guys, sorry about that. That was just me being silly. I accidentally set my default program for C# scripts to Illustrator. Not sure how that happened, but I did it. So, as you can see, I'm no stranger to messing up. So, do with that information whatever you want. Okay, so we just made our new script. I'm just going to set it up like how I like to set it up. And we're going to need 3 variables. Let's say... Oh, we don't even need that one. Yeah, so we're going to need 3 variables, right? Yes, 3 variables. So we want to make a public game object, and we're going to do that as the target, right? Or I guess to make it a little bit more clear, we'll just call it the player. We want to make a public float distance, and then we want a public speed. Oh, oops. Float speed. Right? We want all these things to be floats. And we're going to add another variable later, but I'm going to go over just the basics first, okay? Okay, so first of all, get rid of the start. We don't need start, right? We don't need that. All we need is this update. So this update means that every single frame, whatever is in here, is going to happen. And we're going to set a definition of a variable right now. So we're going to make a new variable, but we're not going to put it up here. Actually, this is kind of new. I don't think I've gone over this yet. Okay, so what you can do is that in every function, like update and start, like I just deleted, or one that you made, you can actually set variables inside that function, which means that they'll only be used in that function, but they will never be called in other functions. So it's a little bit more cost efficient in terms of processing. It doesn't really matter that much if you're doing something this short, unless you're you know, making like a lot of them. It doesn't really matter that much. But we're just going to make a float, right? This is how you set it up. Float, and then we're going to call it not dost. We're going to call it distance, or we want to call it distance, but we're just call it dist, so it's not messed up with the one up there. And we're going to do that distance thing that we did last time, right? And we're going to get the distance from the player.transform.position, and then we are going to get the transform. That's not what we wanted. Lowercase transform. Uppercase transform is something different. Position of this object. Transform.position is of this object, right? If there's nothing in front of it, if it's not like object.transform.position, and it's just transform.position, that means that it's the object that the script is attached to. Otherwise, you have to specify, like player.transform.position. And we're just going to end it, right? And then we are going to do a vector3, right? And that is it's basically like a list of 3 coordinates. Usually it's used to determine position or rotation, you know, on the X, Y, and Z axis. So we're going to do vector3, and we're going to name this, no, we actually don't need to do that one yet. Hold on. Sorry, I've gotten ahead of myself. So, if dist, right, this thing up here, is less than distance, right? Yeah. So what we want distance to be is, before I do that, what we want distance to be is we want distance to be the point behind the player that the camera goes to. Right? That is like the distance away from the player that we want the camera to be. Does that make sense? So we want... No, I guess we did need that, right? Oh. I'm trying to see if I can make my code easier. I'm looking at it. And I don't think it's the best that it could be. Yeah, you know what? Whatever. We'll just go with it. So we want distance to be the however far behind the player you want the camera to be. So we want to do that if the camera's going to be moving towards the player, right? So we want to see if the distance between the player and the camera is ever less than the distance we want it to be, right? All we're going to do is look at the player, right? We're not going to do anything else. We're not going to move towards the player. We're not going to go around the player or anything. We're just going to stay where we are, and we're going to look at the player. So we're just going to do transform dot look at, right? And then we're just going to do player dot transform. There we go. Look at that. We're on our way already. Then we're going to do an else if statement, which means if distance is less than distance. If it's not, then if dist is greater than distance, and we want to do distance times 2 here, right? Saying, so if the distance between the player and the camera is ever greater... Oh, come on. I gotta do that. Okay. Is ever greater than distance you set up here times 2, then what we're going to do is we are going to first do what we did before, transform.lookAt player dot transform, right? But we also want to move towards the player. So we're going to do transform dot position equals vector 3 dot move towards, and then we're going to set this to move towards needs current vector 3, a target vector 3, and a max distance, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to set the current to transform.position. You know, I think you got that figured out by now. And then new vector 3. Oops, I keep doing that. Vector 3, right? What this does is it basically makes a new variable, and it sets the vector 3 target. It sets this to this new vector 3 that we are making right now. And what is this vector 3 going to be? That is a very good question. We're going to change it to player.transform position dot x, right? That's the first one. The vector 3 has 3 of them. So player prefs. What is this? Was that there the whole time? Ugh. No, not play mode. Just player. Just player. Player.transform.position.x, right? Now we want to do player. No. Player. Dot transform dot position dot y, and then this is going to be the point. This is going to be the point that the this vector 3 that we're making right now. This is going to be the point that the camera moves to when it is moving towards the player. So we're just going to make it a little bit higher than the player, right? So we're not at like waist level. That wouldn't look very good in the game. And then we're going to set the third one, the Z. This is how far behind the player we're going to be. So we're going to set that to player dot transform dot position dot Z, right? But we want it to be behind the player, right, as much as distance. So we're going to do minus distance, right? And that means that it will go to the point behind the player. No. Why do you do this? Why do you do this? Distance. That means that it's going to go to the point behind the player, right? That is 1 above the player position, and whatever you put as the distance behind it, right? And then for the rest of the things, we're going to do for what is it? Max distance, right? For the max distance, we're going to do speed times 3 times time dot delta time, right? And what that does is it sets the max distance to the fastest speed that the camera can move times 3, right? Times time dot delta time. So like it moves at a constant speed instead of kind of jittering along. So what we're going to do now is we're going to set up so that when the player starts running, it moves faster so that I can keep up with the player. So we're going to do another else if, right? And then we're going to do if dist is less than distance. I can't spell today. No. Distance times 2 and dist is greater than distance, right? So what this means is if this condition is met, right? And so if distance is less than, or if dist is less than distance, if the, sorry, stumbling over my words here. If the distance from the player to the camera is less than the whatever we set to our distance up here times 2, and it's greater than just the regular one, then it's going to jump forward in speed, and it's going to... We're just going to set it up the same we did before, transform, we're just going to copy paste. You know what? It's a lot easier. Copy, paste, and then we're going to set up, that's not what I wanted. Usually works fine for me. I don't know what it's doing today. Transform dot position, right? Equals, and then we're going to do the same thing that we did before, but we're going to make it move faster, right? Vector 3. Oh, I'm sorry, I've been messing them up. I've been talking about them wrong this whole time. So the second one, this is the running speed, right? The one that we just did. This is the running speed here. And this is going to be the walking speed. So if it's, so this is saying if we haven't reached the object, like if the distance is greater than what it should be, right, then we're going to start moving. If the distance is greater than the actual position we want to be at, and if it's not at like the running distance yet, then we're gonna go with like a regular speed. This one up here is saying that if it's greater than like twice the distance we wanted away from it, we need to start bolting because that player's moving faster than we anticipated. And then we go with the speed times 3, right? We go with 3 times whatever we set the speed to. And usually you want the speed to be equal to whatever the walk walk speed is for your character. So vector 3 dot move towards, and then we want to do all this stuff again. You know what? We're basically doing the whole thing again. So I'm just gonna copy paste, because when you can copy paste, you definitely should. And we're just gonna take out the We're just gonna take out the times 3. And that should be working, actually. That's pretty much it. By the way, when it does that, I just press Control Z and it fixes itself when it does that thing. Okay? Let's see what this does. So we want to take the tutorial camera, we want to put it on the sphere, but there are a few things we want to do before we actually start it up. Okay? So you see, we have a player here. What we did is we made these public, right? So public means that we can change them in the editor, and we set all of the variables in the editor. So we need a variable for the player. So what we're going to do is we're going to do third-person controller, and we're just going to drag that down the sphere. Before I do that, I'm just going to... So you need to highlight the sphere on the hierarchy. See over here. But if you click on the third-person controller, see how it changes? So you want to click on the on the sphere, right? And then just click. Don't move up on your, like, don't unclick your button. You want to click and hold, and then drag it over into the player thing, right? And then we'll say our distance is like 2, and our speed is 2. Actually, let's make our distance like 4. There we go. So that means it will be 4 units behind the player, and the speed that it moves normally when it's walking will be 2, which I think is the same that we have right here, right? So this is the empty scene. Yeah, okay. Just making sure that I wasn't messing up when we did this. Okay, so it should be set right now. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. And it's all set up. When we walk towards it, it stops moving. When we walk away from it, it starts moving with us. And then if we run into this thing, because we have the sphere... Oops. Let's see if we can get it to do it. Oh. Looks like the sphere is moving through it. Let's see if we can fix that. I'm going to see what this does. Ah, okay, that kind of works. That kind of works for the most part. I'm just gonna leave it like that for now. If it hits something on the side or the back, it's fine. So go ahead and just undo the freeze position and rotation. Don't worry about that. Just undo those, and that'll fix it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to reset the camera position. We're going to do that little feature. And that is the easiest part. What we just went through was a gauntlet. That was the hard part. I'm sorry if I made it confusing. I am making a lot of mistakes tonight. And if it's that bad, if you guys really want me to, I will redo this whole video. I will definitely do that if you want me to. So it only takes like an hour and a half or so to like actually, or it takes like 45 minutes to record it, and then like an hour of editing. So we're going to... Wait, what was I doing? Crap, what was I doing? Oh yeah, right. Okay, so we are going to do the camera moving behind you. So we need to... What it's called, or one of the functions is Z, right? You hit Z in Ocarina of Time, and the camera goes instantly behind Link, because they didn't really have great camera controls back then, and that was pretty much the best that they could do. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into our project settings, and we're going to go into input, right? We already have a Z here, right? But how you would do that if you didn't have a Z, we're just going to get rid of it, and then we're going to hit change this. This is how it should be, right? Normally 15. We're just going to change that to 16, and this new jump will pop up, right? And so we want to change the positive button to a lowercase z, and then we want to change the name to an uppercase z. And that is literally it. That is all you need to do. Just get rid of that. That's it. That's it. That's everything. You did it. Good job. So we're going to open up our tutorial camera here. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a new variable. And it's just going to be a public, and it's going to be a bool. Actually, we're going to make this private, because we don't need anybody else to see this. So we're going to make a private bool, and we're just going to call it z. Because why not? It's the easiest to remember. And so what we need to do first is we need to set what the position is behind the player that we want the camera to move to when we press Z, right? So we want to make a new vector 3, and this is only going to be used in the update function, so we don't need to put it anywhere else. And we're going to do behind, and then we're going to do that, just target, I'm sorry, not target, sorry, change that name in this version, player.position, and player.transform.position. Player.transform.position. Thought that was weird that it was picking up on that. And then we want to add to this player.transform.position. We want to add new vector 3. We're going to make a new vector 3. And we're going to make this the position behind the player, right? So we want to essentially subtract from, actually, we don't even need to add. We should be subtracting here. I don't know why I put add on the other thing. We're going to subtract, and then we're going to do player transform position. I'm sorry. I got somebody giving me a Steam message. Position. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Okay, so player.transform. And remember how I said in a previous video that there are essentially 3 directions, up, left, and forward, and that everything else is a negative version of that. So if you wanted to go down, it would be negative up, right would be negative left, so on and so forth. We're going to use those here. So we want forward, but we just want the X of forward, right? So we want to essentially make this vector 3 player.transform.forward, but we want to change a few of the values, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to do player.transform.forward, essentially making this just player.transform.forward, but like a customized version of it, just for us. We're going to change a few things around. And we're going to do forward.x times distance, right? And when we subtract that from the player position, that will give us, essentially, we're just making one of the x position behind the player. The amount of distance that we set as distance, which in this case is 4, I think. I think it's 4. Then we're going to do target. No. I keep doing that. Player dot transform dot position. No, I'm sorry. Forward. I keep doing that too. Okay, I need to work on this. I need to catch myself. Dot y plus 1, right? And that's, you know, so that it goes above the player and not the same reason we did it down here, you know? And then we're going to do player dot transform dot forward dot z, and this is the last one, times distance. I'm sorry if that was terribly confusing. I tried to make it less so, but I'm not articulating myself the best right now. Again, I'll do this over if you guys want me to. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. I try to answer all of them, but I haven't gotten too many questions yet. So, you know, keep them up. I'll keep checking. So, what we want to do is we want the first time the update comes down, we want to just check to see if Z is pressed, right? So we want to do if input dot get button. I think we did this in the last one. Get button, and then we're looking for the Z button, the one that we made, right? If that happens, then we want to make Z equal true. Yeah? Pretty simple, right? Then we're going to turn this into an else if. I'm just going to put a little blank space between this and that, just so we got a little visual separation. And then else if Z, right? So if input.getButton Z is pressed, right, and we get down here and it's pressed, then we want to look at the player. We always want it looking at the player, right? So we want, you know what? We're just going to do that here. So we're going to do transform.lookAt always, and then transform dot position vector 3, and we're going to move towards, dot move towards, right? Gotta do the right punctuation. Transform dot position, right? Because we want that to be the current position. Then we're going to make this one into behind, right? What we set it to up here, which is the player position minus transform dot forward times distance, essentially. And then we're going to make the max distance equal 30, and then we're going to do times time dot delta time. And I hope I wasn't too soft there. I don't think I was. And then we're going to do this just to make sure that this is essentially, so actually I'm just going to add a little line here just to make it foolproof, just in case something does happen. Oops. If Z, Z and if Z is false, the exclamation point before the Z means that it's false. So if Z is false and we are pressing Z, turn Z to true, right? And if Z is true, go down here and do this. And so that we do if the position of the camera equals behind, right? So if move towards is successful, and we did it, and we made it all the way there, then we're just going to go ahead and turn Z equals false. Right? Simple enough. And basically, because we don't want any of this to be happening while Z is true, what we're going to do, just so that they don't, clash with each other, we're just going to make an else statement, right? So if neither this or this is happening, then else, and we're just going to go ahead and highlight all this, press Tab to indent it, and then make another curly bracket. And there we go. That's the whole thing. That's it. You did it. You got all of it. So now that we have this saved, go into the game, hit Start, and even if you're facing a different direction, hit Z, and you'll go behind the player. That's pretty much it. I think I need to change behind a little bit, because it always seems to go below the player. But you know, there's a little camera jitter, but it's not that bad, honestly. It's really not that bad. So more Steam messages. So I'm going to I'll play Dota 2 in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here, because this is pretty much it. This is all we did. I'll maybe add some more features to this in the future. I'll let you know if I do that, but I think I'm going to do something more exciting, because this took like a good half day to figure out. Like, and I mean like half day total time, like a good 10 hours or something, which, you know, it's kind of a long time, but it's not that bad. So so what I'm going to do is just go ahead and stop here. Remember to subscribe to my channel, comment on all my things. Oh, what else should I see? My other videos. I'm gonna put up a little thing for my friend Chris Folio, because I like Chris. Chris has a bludgeoning, budding YouTube channel right now, and it's just starting to get good. So go over and check him out. That's pretty much all I'm gonna do. That's all I need to say. Good job, guys. You did it. And hopefully I'll have a video up by the end of the week or the beginning of next week. I just am a little bit busy right now. Sorry I didn't get this out sooner. See you guys.